What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Copy Narrates. And today's story comes from the r/am I the butthole subreddit. Let's get into today's first story, shall we? And today's first story comes from Throwaway Lying Daughter. This one is a doozy. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter I don't care who she dates, but tell me the truth? Sorry, English is not my first language. I 52 female, daughter 23 female A, has a boyfriend 24 male T. We've, my husband and I, been told by many people that they are dating, including some of their old school friends. However, they both continue to deny it, and we're getting sick of it. A few weeks ago, T joined us for dinner at our home. Our family, my two sons, couldn't help but express their curiosity and excitement. They eagerly asked questions like, are you going to get married? And when did you start dating again? Was it in high school? My husband and I didn't get involved too much, but we did ask a few questions about if they were planning on moving in together. What? And such. Trying to be supportive of them both. Both of them continuously denied dating every time they were asked. But we all know they are. But we chose not to engage in their denial. When T left for the night, A approached me, visibly frustrated, and told me in no uncertain terms to stop saying that she and T were dating. Oh dear Lord. In that moment, my emotions were a whirlwind. On one hand, I understood her desire for privacy. But on the other, I wanted to maintain an open and honest line of communication with my daughter. I'm sorry, guys, this one's breaking me slightly here. Okay. The truth is, it's abundantly clear to anyone paying attention that A and T are in a relationship. They see each other almost every week. They're constantly calling and texting, and multiple people have confirmed to us that they are dating. If they can share this information with their friends, why can't they tell us? So I responded by saying, I don't care who you choose to date, but please stop lying to me about it. I firmly believe that honesty was crucial for our mother-daughter relationship, and I wanted to support her choices, whatever they may be. However, the situation took a sharp turn from there. A was clearly upset and didn't appreciate my response. She called me a butthole and left without saying another word, leaving me in a state of shock and confusion. I read it. I'm left wondering if I handled the situation poorly. Did I cross a line by confronting my daughter about her relationship and insisting on honesty, even though it led to such a hurtful exchange? Am I the butthole? I do apologise about that, guys, but that one slightly broke me reading that. That was hard. So OP has offered the following explanation why they think they might be the butthole. I crossed a line by confronting my daughter about her relationship and insisting on honesty, even though it led to such a hurtful exchange. So I'm going to read this comment from English Grits, and then we're going to read some replies that OP posted down below because they are gems. But English Grit says, they see each other almost every week. They're constantly calling and texting. My best friend is a woman. I'm a man. We're both married to our respective partners, but see each other once a week and are always texting. Whatever this confirmation is that you received about them dating, it sounds like a bullcrap rumour. All that aside though, here's the only important part. Your daughter came to you visibly frustrated and upset, then asked you to stop saying that her and T were dating. You acknowledged that frustration and knew she was upset. You then chose to do the exact thing she asked you not to do and accused her of lying. That makes you the butthole. You're the butthole. So I'll be posting some replies into these comments here. And I'm not going to read all the comments that she replied to. I'm just going to read her replies and explain what the comment was. So this one was that they're just friends, right? And OP replied that it's unlikely they're friends from the way they act. It's been going on for years and I want answers. And someone got an answer. And someone replies that with, you got an answer. They're not dating. Drop it. And someone else says to OP something along the lines of, rumours often happen between friends. The very might be dating, but your daughter will tell you when she's ready. And then OP replies that it's been years. And someone says, why on earth does it matter? And then OP replies in the comments, she won't cut me off over this. It's a minor disagreement about honesty. And someone else says it's actually a big disagreement, which OP replies, if all the friends know, to the point they ask me how A and T when they see me, I feel like I deserve to know. It's been years of this, and I'm getting sick of it. And someone replies that saying, did you ever consider that those friends are wrong? And OP's like, not for years. And then someone else replies to that, and OP replies with, I know, as a mother, I do, but she won't admit it. And someone else says, as a mother, themselves, they know that mothers don't automatically know anything. And OP is just continuing to go on about how it's been years, it's multiple dinners and family events. And someone else says, stop intruding. And OP says, I don't care who she dates, I just want her to be honest with me. And then this is where we get to the gems of this. Someone asks why she's so confident she is lying. And OP says, her friends from high school, freaking high school, her daughter's 23 now. High school was 5 years ago. Who she's still close to, according to OP's mum. I doubt she's as close to these people as the mum's trying to make out. There they are. They're with each other, or talking to each other constantly. Her inviting him to multiple family events. No non-couple has a relationship like that. And someone says to that, you know, sorry to burst your bubble, but a lot of friends are like that. I don't know why you think best friends don't want to hang out or talk to each other. And someone else says, I do. I go out with my best friend for dinners and invite him to events and such. We're just very close. And then OP replies to that with, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a limit for the same friend to attending events before it gets weird. And someone says, there's a time limit on friendship. And then OP replies, no, but every single family event for 4 to 3 years is weird. And then someone else says, so the limit on friendship is 3 to 4 years. And OP replies with, it's weird and borderline unhealthy. And someone else replies that with, unhealthy to have a best friend. You know what is unhealthy? Accusing your daughter of lying and telling her you know best. Please seek therapy. We need to give OP a butthole score here. And I'm going to give OP 9 out of 10 because this is frankly deranged. Leave your 23-year-old female daughter alone and stop saying that she's in a relationship with someone when she's clearly stated multiple times, I'm not in a relationship. We're not dating. This has apparently been going on for 3 to 4 years now, where her daughter's been explicitly saying, I'm not dating him. Please stop saying that. And it's gotten so bad to the point where even OP's own brothers are saying it, right? And this is coming from the parents. Let's be perfectly clear here. The reason why the brothers are saying this stuff is because that's what the parents are telling them. Oh, well, they're dating. And apparently these friends from high school, that OP's mum says, OP says, like, that her daughter's close with them. Is she? Is she really? They can't be that close to her to say that she's dating when her daughter's clearly stated that she's not. But yeah, OP, you're gonna have to have bottles for this. Leave your daughter alone. Stop interfering and making perfectly platonic relationships weird. She can have a friend who's a boy and invite him to things as much as she wants because that's her right as an adult. You know what? Your daughter might not want to date anyone. Your daughter might be happy with how she is and how she lives her life and want a purely platonic relationship with a fellow adult with shared common interests where to spend time together in a non-romantic way. And that is perfectly fine for her to do. And it's so strange and so weird that you can't accept that and are trying to force her into a relationship she doesn't want. Like, seriously, OP, you're trying to force your daughter to sleep with someone that she doesn't want to. And I think that's kind of disturbing and sick. Leave your daughter alone. And like one commenter said, seek therapy because this behaviour is deranged. And if you carry on this way, you will... your daughter will be long gone. She'll just cut you out of her life if this continues. Guys, let me know what you think about this one down below because this one was an absolute... Our next story comes from Throwaway Sutwi? I think it's Throwaway Sutwi. I just want to give a warning that this story contains potential child abuse. I did also for telling my wife I don't care about her dreams. My wife wants to be an influencer on TikTok and YouTube. She's been creating mommy content and content about her day-to-day life. When she told me this is something she wanted to do, I didn't have a problem with it. I only said that I don't want our children, 4 male and 2 female, in any of her content. I don't monitor her channel because it doesn't really seem necessary. I recently watched the channel because I thought it'd be cute so as to see what she does in her day-to-day life. I found our children's faces in almost all of her content. I told her straight up, she needs to remove all of her content. She said that she knew I wouldn't agree, but she doesn't think this is a big deal. I don't like children content. I feel like a lot of the time when you see that children make profit, they become less of your kids and more of a product, and your interactions become more performative. And I can see the same thing has happened in her because she posted a video of her getting our 2-year-old out of a tantrum and how she deals with it. But how is your first instinct to record and hold camera whilst our baby is crying? She started crying, saying that she built this up and this is her dream and deleting her content will ruin it. And I said, I simply don't give a F. If you don't delete it, I will consider a divorce. I know a lot of people have children on their social media, and I don't mind an Instagram or Facebook post, but to make videos so intimate to share, she told her friends and even hinted on her social media accounts that she has an over-controlling and narcissistic husband that doesn't want her on social media. I'm currently being ridiculed by her friends. Am I being over-controlling or narcissistic? And hope he's added the edit. Someone asked what kind of content. The content isn't really harmful. This is where I'm going to disagree in a second, guys. Just her feeding them and playing with them. But the two types of videos I have problems with is her recording our children's tantrums and our 2-year-old still doesn't like clothes. We're trying to get her to wear them more, but our house can be hot, so she's in a diaper a lot. I don't like videos of our daughter in her diapers. Now I'm just going to unequivocally say here, Opie's not the arse, the butthole in this. They are not the butthole at all. Completely not the butthole. Your wife is though, deeply, and I am deeply concerned about this video that you say happened. The video about the 2-year-old having a tantrum, because I want to know how that tantrum started and why your wife was recording it. Because I have heard too many stories of these mommy blogger, daddy blogger channels, family channels, where the parents will actively make the children cry for content. I don't have proof of this. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but your child was having a tantrum and your wife was ready to record it. That seems too much of a coincidence to me. And I feel like your wife may have done something that she know would deliberately upset your child in order to trigger a tantrum to record it for views, for clickbait content. And if that is the case, I'm deeply sickened, and you really, really need to get your child away from your wife. 7 Our Own comments, not the butthole. People who make profits from their kids' misery are the buttholes here. It seems like your wife is more interested in being a TikTok celebrity than being a caring wife and mother. No one should ever be shelling out their kids for likes and imaginary internet points. And someone replies that saying, there's going to be a whole generation of traumatized adults who had their entirety of their lives exploited by their parents on the internet for profit. It needs to be illegal. And I thoroughly agree with this. I do not think that any photos of children should be allowed to be shared on the internet until they can give consent. And I think that the age of that consent to be given should be 13 years old. I think the age of consent to be on social media should be the same age at which kids are allowed to, teenagers, young adults, are allowed to sign up to social media, which is 13 for most platforms. And I think that it should be that way. That should be the kid's choice if they want to be online. That should be done at an appropriate age where they can make that decision to do that, which I feel 13 is an appropriate age to make decisions about whether you want to have pictures of yourself online or whether you want to engage in making videos and content. I think any younger than that, and no, it should never be a unilateral parent's decision. They should never ever be allowed to do this because I think it's so traumatized for the children. And I am deeply concerned that your wife is triggering these tantrums on purpose to get likes and stuff. In cultural section 862 says, not the butthole, monetizing children is effing gross. You can have a successful mummy channel without exploiting those you are meant to protect and claim to love. And OP replies that with, exactly, when she first started she didn't post them, so I know it's possible to share your life as a mother without actually showing the kids. And someone else replies that with, the biggest problem is the trust issue. She agreed to something to your face and then just turned around and did whatever she wanted because she knew you wouldn't agree. Stuff like kids' visibility online is important joint parenting decision, and it's super concerning that she just completely ignored that. And someone else says, not the butthole, problems are starting to arise already, and she's not even viral yet, I presumed. I would get an attorney over this because she's putting her wannabe influencer lifestyle ahead of her family's welfare. Going against you and doing this behind your back will not end well if you don't put your foot down. And OP replies to that with, my kids are always going to be my first priority, but my wife's life revolves around our children and her phone. She spends most of her free time with her phone because she couldn't maintain her friends and her family live far away. I have tried to encourage hobbies or a yoga class or something, but she declines or gives up after one try. Blogging has been the only thing she has been consistent with. I think maybe if she takes a break from her phone and seeks therapy and better hobbies, oh god, she will be fine. But at the moment I think she only sees me as an over-controlling husband, and the friends are trying to convince her to leave based on what she told them. So I don't know how to help her. At the moment I feel like a divorce is my only option, but if we got a divorce, wouldn't she be free to still make content? I'm confused on how to deal with this issue. And Dangerous Winter Elf replies to this with, I'm not a lawyer, but perhaps look up cases like that. If the content is going too far, some have actually lost custody of their children, which is true. It comes down to a lot of aspects. Is the child in danger in any way? Are the children forced to perform in her videos? Does the children want to be in them? Does she get angry if they don't do what she wants? Does she display ignoring the children's emotional, physical needs in the videos? Lacking your consent is a thing some places too. And for the most part that comment is relatively correct. I'm not a lawyer either, but I did study law for quite a long time, but decided not to pursue it further for multiple reasons, mainly health. But yeah, OP, I agree with these commenters. You need to get a lawyer, and bless you, OP, you say like you think your wife will be fine if she gets help. Honestly, she does not need to be near your kids. You need to get your kids away from your wife, OP, because this situation is not good at all. And on the surface of it, that tantrum video is very, very disturbing, because my biggest question is why and how did that tantrum start, OP? And why did she have a camera ready? So OP, as I said, is not the butthole, but his wife is, and I'm going to give her 9 out of 10 buttholes. Yep, 9 out of 10 buttholes. OP didn't consent to have his children filmed. He made that explicitly clear. She did it anyway. She's filming the kids for profit. The content she's posting is disturbing because there's videos of the kids that have tantrums, and cause of those tantrums is unknown. But with this camera ready, it leads to a situation where I think this is possibly abuse, where she's actually triggering these tantrums, which is obviously very traumatic and going to have negative consequences for the kids long term if they continue to be exposed to this, right? Moving on to our next story, which comes from Artis001. Am I the butthole? It's very hydrating. This has been bugging me for days. Went to dinner with my wife recently to a relatively nice place. $30 to $45 per person means. Quick side note, we're both in our 30s and both work in hospitality and worked in kitchens for years. So we're generally on our best behaviour at restaurants. Anyway, we sit down and are greeted by a young woman, early 20s, who drops some menus and asks if we want to start with still or sparkling water. I looked at the drink menu and saw the still was $9 and the sparkling was $12. Neither of us cared that much about fancy water, so I said tap is fine. She gave a sort of grimace and a small noise. I asked, is there something wrong with tap water? She replied, it's very hydrating, followed by an awkward silence. This was very strange to me, so I essentially repeated the question with slightly different verbiage and once again got, it's very hydrating. I looked at her with an expression of, please explain. More silence. Eventually I asked, what does that mean? She said, with no emotion, it will hydrate you. Now I'm feeling weird about this whole situation, and I flat out asked with no expression or connotation, what's wrong with the tap water? You guessed it. It's very hydrating. I stood up and told my wife we're going. Before my wife even realised what was going on, the waitress said, "Have a blessed day," with the smuggest smile I've ever seen. Am I in La La Land here? The triplicate response seems really dumb for someone. What? She just called, okay. Opie just called the waitress really dumb. For someone who is a professional at hospitality. Anyway, my wife suggested I took it too far by leaving. In my opinion, I didn't take it far enough. I should have spoke to a manager, but life's short and I didn't. Am I the butthole? And there's multiple updates to this as well. So we'll read the updates first and then I'll give my verdict. Update 1. My wife was cool with leaving. We have a very equitable relationship. If one of us says to the other we're leaving, or any variation of that, we trust each other to know we made the right call, and we'll figure out the rest later. Update 2. This is in America. I'm from near there, and have had the tap water in the vicinity several times without issue. Update 3. Types of water. In my area, it's pretty normal to have 3 choices of water at a restaurant. Still, this is fancy water in a 1 litre glass bottle with no bubbles. This was a $9 option. Sparkling water in a 1 litre glass bottle was $12. 3 tap water free. This option was not presented to me, but is a choice if the diner asks. Everyone voted OP, not the butthole in this, by the way. Now I'm going to take a different approach to this. I'm going to say you're the butthole OP. I was wavering on everyone sucks here because, like, if you made a small face, okay, that's not completely professional, but at the same time, I can see why she might be a little bit annoyed as well. And OP says that they're a professional and worked in this industry, right? That both him and his partner, right? So if they've worked in this industry, then they know that drinks, beverages make up a significant portion of what a business earns. It is usually the highest profit margin out of everything that the business sells, restaurants, bars, etc. Beverages is the biggest. It has the biggest amount of profit, right? So Aubrey is getting tap water because it's free. Great, yay. That is technically true. But I would never go to a restaurant and say, give me tap water for free, unless it was either because I have a medical condition where I need to drink because of the weather, or because I need to take medication, right? Like, I take medication, so if I was at a restaurant, I might ask for a glass of tap water so I could take my medication with it. But I'd still order other drinks off the menu. But that's not the only reason why I think OP's kind of the butthole. The reason why I think OP's the butthole is because of their behaviour. You asked the question about the tap water. You said, is there something wrong with the tap water? And she replied, it's very hydrating, which is factually correct. Tap water is very hydrating. You weren't happy with that and wanted to create a scene. So there was an awkward silence because you wanted to make a problem where there wasn't a problem. She said she would get you tap water, but that wasn't good enough for you. So instead, you asked her again with slightly different verbiage. I feel like you found this in a dictionary and thought it would make you sound more intelligent for this post. Say verbiage. And she replied with the same answer, because that is correct. And you still weren't happy with that and wanted to push it further and told her to please explain. And she says, and then you says, what does that mean? And she said, with no emotion, it will hydrate you. Because yes, tap water will hydrate you. Again, this server is being as a professional as they can with a customer that is trying to push something that isn't an issue into an issue. And I don't like this. And this guy's meant to be a server. And everyone in this post, like, this guy was apparently in the business, right? And everyone in this post is calling them not the butthole, when this guy apparently worked in hospitality and kitchens for years and is treating a server like this. They know exactly what they're doing. What they are doing is trying to bait that server into saying something that they can use against them. And that is not okay. OP says they worked in the hospitality industry and that's how they treat a server. That's cool and all, OP. You didn't want to spend $9 to $12 on your own wife drinks, right? You didn't want to spend that. And you said this is in America. So that's 20% of what would have went to her. So what is that? $18? $18 to $24. The middle's $21. Divide that by 10. Double it. So that's about $4.20 that she lost. That's fine, you could have tap water. She was going to get you your tap water, but you had to push it. I'm going to give OP 6 out of 10 buttholes because it would have been less, but they kept pushing it. She answered the question the first time. It's very hydrating, and that's correct. Also, he has a problem with her saying, have a blessed day. Like, if she wants to say, have a blessed day, OP, I don't know what your problem is with that. That is a perfectly professional and relaxed response. Now, if you have a problem with it because it has some connotations to religion, then you need some help there as well. Because that's a very weird thing to get angry about. Like, I'm an atheist, I'm not a religious person, but I don't judge people upon their other belief systems, right? And also saying have a blessed day doesn't necessarily imply religious connotations. It can just be a kind thing to say. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this one down below. I think OP just completely pushed this situation too far. And the fact that he wanted to get them fired over this, like seriously? OP wanted this woman fired. I don't know what OP's problem is with this girl, but it's either her age or something, but OP did not like her. Maybe because she was early 20s. Maybe this was his way of trying to teach her a lesson or something. I don't know, let me know what you guys think down below. Our last story comes from Sad Juggernaut 6543. Am I the butthole for abandoning my family because my daughter protected my wife's affair? So this one's going to be a doozy and does contain infidelity. I will keep this as short as possible. But basically, I'm a 43 male. I got my childhood sweetheart, 43 female, pregnant and had my daughter, who's currently 25 female. She was considered a miracle child because the pregnancy was difficult for my wife, that she was never able to have kids again, which sucked, but it worked out perfectly in the end. My daughter was incredible. Now 2023 comes, my wife cheated on me with a friend of hers, which I discovered by signing into her Facebook. Invasion of privacy, I know, but curiosity struck. And I'm saying this out of pure hatred, but he was an ugly B-word. But he had one thing, money. I immediately called my daughter and persuaded her to come to our house as it was urgent and she was quite nervous, which was quite strange, but now looking back, I'm assuming my wife found out I knew about the affair somehow, somewhere, and told her. She arrives at our house and I confronted my wife, and she didn't deny anything, heartless in fact, and she scolded me for having no affection, lacking intimacy, and to be honest, she was right, but I was trying to achieve our goal, early retirement. My daughter could have kept quiet, but she scolded my wife for cheating and called her a witch. Oh no, not a witch. Other word, longest profession in the world. Starts with a W. You'll figure out. And while she isn't wrong, it caused my wife to expose her. My wife stated that she's had an affair since the pandemic ended, and my daughter discovered an affair partner gave her lots of money to keep her quiet. She tried apologising, but it wasn't enough. I was heartbroken. My daughter meant everything to me, and my wife, and they destroyed me. So I just left the house, waited for nightfall, ignored every phone call from my daughter, and came back, packed up my clothes, and left. I expect my wife to be home, but she went out, probably to be with a fair partner. So am I the butthole? I've also blocked my daughter and my wife as soon as I entered my motel. I don't want any association with them. And OP, you're not the butthole in this one. But let's get into the comments. Not the butthole. Stories like this are why I always advise children who came here looking for advice regarding these situations to tell the other parent. To some extent, any parent can recover from being cheated on by their spouse, but your child betraying you stings differently. And someone replies that, especially adult children, and for money, an actual child, fine. They don't know what to do. Staying silent because you don't want to get involved. Okay, not great, but understandable. You love both parents. For cash, daughter sucks. And someone asks info, why did you first call your daughter to be there in the first place? And someone replies that, I totally didn't question that until you asked. Super weird impulse in retrospect. And the original commenter says, I mean, that sounds super uncomfortable to have your adult child there, listening to your parents argue about mum's affair. And the other thing I have to say to this commenter is, how many stories do we hear about one parent or another parent cheating, right? And they don't tell their child, oh, by the way, your mum cheated on me. Or, by the way, dad cheated on me. And then the child says, well, why didn't you tell me? It was my right to know. I should know. Yeah, in this story, Opie's getting criticised for including his daughter and being openly transparent and having an honest, communicative relationship with her. Opie's daughter is an adult. She's 25 years old. She has a right to know what's going on in her parents' life and their marriage. Like, are you honestly saying that he should have hid that from her? And that the daughter shouldn't have been there to see what happened? And to have her say? And furthermore, it turns out the daughter was in on it. She was in on the affair and was helping conceal it in order to get a bag of money. It's so depressingly sad. This story's so depressingly sad. Yeah, not to put whole OP. Your wife's a cheater, so I'm just gonna give her 9 out of 10. She admitted it, she didn't care. She did it anyway, right? And your daughter is going to get an 8 out of 10. If it's simply been that she didn't think it was her place to say, I would have gave her a low butthole score, maybe like a 1 or a 2 or something. You know, because she didn't want to be involved and she didn't want to be the one to break it, like... Because obviously that would be awful as a child have to do that to your parent, right? Then equally at the same time, concealing it isn't much better either, right? Neither option's a good option if you're in that situation where you find out that one of your parents is cheating on the other one. But that isn't what happened here. Opie's daughter found out and went, yeah, I'll have a bag of money and keep my mouth shut. Give me that bag. I want the bag, right? I want the bag. Give me the bag now. Give me the money. Over, you know, her father. And that has to hurt for OP. And I can't see how your own daughter hiding your wife's affair for money. How'd you get past that one? Let me know down below if you... Alright guys, let me know down below. Could you get past that? Could you get your own daughter? Get past your own child? Keeping your partner's affair quiet for a boatload of money? Seriously, let me know if you could get past that. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.